It's not going. There we go. Oh, here we go. We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Wednesday Wisdom with Liz Gabor. And this is a platform I created, this Wednesday Wisdom series, to host a platform for women to share their stories, their wisdom, how they've navigated their lives, to share the work they do in the world, and more. And it's really a way for me to spotlight each of the women and the members of our private Facebook group, Ageless Goddess Vibe Tribe. Come on over and join us if you are a woman or you identify as female. And it was really because members wanted to learn about one another, and we would have some events, and kind of break out, but not really have a chance to really hear each other's stories. And we learn from each other's stories. We get informed and get ideas and share and support. So again, it's because I'll provide you, Regina, with the link so that you can do with it what you wish. Share it with your family, your community. Cut it up, put it on your social places if you whatever you choose to do or not. And it's based on my strong calling to shift the perception around aging for women, and in addition to shifting cultural beliefs around aging. And I feel our world and our country is now more in need than ever for women's full expression, their voices, creativity, radiant power of women's intelligence. So with that being said, this week's Wednesday Wisdom, I'm so grateful to have the beautiful and fabulous Regina Fall-Cortez with us today. Welcome, Regina.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna let you. I'll just give you a brief intro. I've known Regina for I don't know how long now, but I feel like we are like old soul sisters. And when I met her, and she is a woman of many talents. She is a lawyer, her profession, but she has lots of other interests. I think that one of her superpowers, along with I think one of mine, is curiosity, and is always looking for new things to learn and share. And so I'm going to let you take it from here, Regina, and just take a few minutes, go for just 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever. Tell about yourself, your background, your professional, background, whatever it is that about your story that you wish to share with the other women of our audience today. For those of us who don't know you and those of us who do know you, to get to know you even better.
Okay. So I think the most important part about me that I've always felt is an important part about me is that I'm a lawyer, because I've wanted to be a lawyer my entire life. I recently joined Clubhouse, and my tagline there is, "I'm more than what you see." Mm-hmm. So that's really sums it up for me, because I'm proud of myself that I'm a lawyer. It's what I've wanted to do my whole life, but it's not all there is to me. And sometimes what I find happening is that I want to do so many other things that sometimes people think I don't like being a lawyer. I don't want to be a lawyer. I have to tell you that it is my true passion, and I really do love it. I've been doing it for 30 years. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. On top of that, I do a lot of other things because I believe that. So how do I say this? I, as a child, was an empath, but then covered that up because it didn't work for me. And it took me many years to be brave enough to uncover what my true calling is, I think, spiritually. Mm-hmm. So I had to go on a quest for finding how to open my heart. Mm-hmm. And then once I did that, once I opened my heart, all of these other things came into my life that I wanted to do and be and say. Mm-hmm. So Liz, I have a great connection with you. I think that, from the first time I met you, I remember you told me that I belong to you, which I fully agreed with. So it wasn't like I was saying, no, I don't. I did. And I do. And that is because I can connect through my heart. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that, because I didn't do that for a very long time. I connected through my mind. I connected through my social being. Now I can connect through my heart, and they're much different relationships.
That's huge. That's so huge. I just want to double click on two things before you go on. The first I want to ask you about is what you love about being a lawyer.
Mhm.
Okay. And then after that, just how did you come into, living from a heart open place? Like, what was it that, because I'm constantly doing things to just really try to keep my heart space open and read from there and connect it to my mind, but just have that be like the one that's in the driver's seat, my heart. So yeah, so if you could answer the first question and then we could go into the second one, would be great.
So I want to say this now because I'll forget to say it after I start talking. You do a better job at living from your heart than I do. And for me, it seems like it comes naturally. For me, it feels like I have to work at it. So I just wanted to say that. We can come back to that afterwards. But so I love being a lawyer because it's an achievement. It's an accomplishment. It's something that I wanted to do for so long that I have to be thankful and grateful for it every day. There was never a choice for me. I remember being in grammar school, being in high school, being in college, and people saying, what are you doing? And I would just very quickly add, I'm going to be a lawyer someday, but maybe I'll be something else. But I knew I would be a lawyer. And people would try to convince me I should do something else. And sometimes they still do. And I never give it up. I just love it too much. And why do I love it? I love the learning of it. I love the way that it makes my brain feel when I'm really like thinking about it. I also love the power of it, the powerfulness of being a lawyer. I think that it's a very powerful job that someone could have. But what I like about being able to practice it my way is that I don't have to be the lawyer that everybody looks at and says, no one would ever know I was a lawyer. I think that's what I tell people that, and they always feel like, oh, wow, I didn't think you were a lawyer. And that's what I love about it, because
I can see that. That's like it's like a compliment in an interesting way. But if you take it as that way,
I don't think they mean like, oh, I didn't think you were smart enough. I think they mean it like, you're not like the rest of them. You're not, as stodgy or as concerned with the boundaries that lawyers are concerned with, because sometimes we put ourselves in a box. So that's what I love about it. I love being able to do it my own way and to help people. Whether it's, right now I help employers, I help people who have businesses. But through that, I also help employees. I do more than just, I try to help employers make a company that is respectful of everything, of themselves, of their want to make money, and of their employees. Because without the employers wouldn't have jobs. And without the employees wouldn't have businesses. So we definitely need each other. And I just would like to make sure that everybody does it respectfully to each other.
Amazing. That's what makes a business work well, is if the leadership is about, bringing up the employees. So if you can help facilitate that, that's amazing. It's amazing. Right. And yeah, I think one of the things about you and being a lawyer, like you don't, the lawyers that take the stereotypical thing that is very black and white and concrete, and I think that you're a very gray thinker. You think outside of the box. So
right,
the profession is lucky to have you.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
So my journey, and I tend not to use that word because it's so overused, but it really is what it is. My journey started, I think, I ended a relationship that I was in for a very long time. And I was very happy to leave the relationship. I had left before, which caused me great sadness. But at this time when I was leaving, I was happy about it. It was the time to go, and I knew I would never go back. But then what happened is, I think that I didn't know where to go from there. So I was attracted to people who were in very dark places. So what that did is it brought me to a dark place. And I had someone, I've always been into mystical things, psychic readings, tarot cards, stuff like that. I can read tarot cards. I can, I have that ability. And so I went for a tarot card reading, and a woman was just like, you are in a bad place. You need to get out of this place. And I thought she wanted to sell me crystals for $5,000. So I was like ready to get up and walk away. But instead, what she did was she introduced me to Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian spiritual program that cleans our collective past. So through that is what really started me on a quest for what else is out there. So I learned Ho'oponopono. I began practicing it.
Can you just share with the audience quickly what the actual mantra is, that it's so beautiful, and
So the mantra is, and so I'm Catholic. So when someone gives me a mantra to do, the first thing I do is I say, should I be doing this? Is this a pagan ritual? So I really sat down and thought about this. And the mantra is, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So while I was sitting down and I was saying, well, what's so bad about saying I love you over and over in my mind? What's so bad about asking for forgiveness, about being genuine and saying that you're sorry, and being thankful or grateful? So I said it was okay to do. And then I started doing it. So what you generally would do is you meditate with it, and you do it so often that it becomes the white noise in your head. And what you're doing is you're taking that mantra to a situation. So if you and I were talking and you started to tell me a problem that you were having, I would recognize that I had some responsibility for that problem, not blame, not fault, but some responsibility. And it usually goes back ages to it's a transmutation. So what I would do is I would take that problem and I would clean on it. And cleaning is the I love you, thank you, please forgive me, and I'm sorry. Whatever order you want to say it in, it doesn't matter. And so I would clean on that problem. And when I cleaned it enough to get it out of my past, it cleans out of your past, because we're collectively connected. So that's what Ho'oponopono does. And I found it to be very powerful. As soon as I started doing it regularly, my creative mind just began. I started having so much more ideas about things for the future, which is not a good thing for me because I want to do everything. So I have to sort of let things go past me, and I have to concentrate a bit more. And I, since that time, I wear this reminder bracelet. It's been in different colors. I've had it in white. I've had it in pink. Blue's my favorite color. So now have it in blue, and that's what's staying with me.
And it just has the mantra on there.
It says, I love you, thank you. Because the shaman who introduced it says that's all you need. You don't need the please forgive me and I'm sorry. That's a little extra.
Right.
I still, when I say it in my head, because I've taught myself to say it, I still say all 4 phrases. So through that, I started to, I learned about myself. I learned about ways that I could connect with others. And one day I was in Kansas, where my then boyfriend lived, or his family lived. And I was doing a yoga practice, which, as you know, Liz, I don't regularly do. But I wanted to open my heart. So I was in a pose where I had my hands behind me and I had my heart open and my head back. And I was asking the universe to send light into my heart because I wanted to open it. I felt like I was closed off.
That's a beautiful visual.
So, and I visualized that light coming directly to my heart. And I was doing a yoga on my phone, and the yoga program stopped, and my friend texted me saying to me, I think you should do the June 3rd Reiki program and become a Reiki practitioner. And I thought to myself, if this isn't a sign, then I don't know what is. So I then registered I wrote back to her, I'm in, did the Reiki practitioner level 1 and level 2.
Nice.
I haven't done the master yet because a master teacher that I know tells me I'm not ready. And I believe her. I believe that I'm not ready because one of the tenets of Reiki is that I will not anger and I will not worry and I will be grateful. And I will be kind and I will be considerate. And sometimes I'm not those things. So sometimes I'm angry and sometimes I worry and sometimes I'm not always considerate or grateful. And
are you sometimes you're sometimes human then?
It is, but when you want to be a Reiki master, you can't be human. You have to be better. So I work on that. And today, for example, I was in a rush because I had a lot of things to do. And there was someone in front of me who cut me off. And all of a sudden, what came into my mind was, just for today, I will not anger. And I said, okay, here's your chance to practice Reiki. And I actually let it go, which was amazing because sometimes I don't let it go.
There's little practices. One of the things I do when somebody does that, I picture that they're a pink elephant. I see a pink elephant crossing in front of me, and I'm like, look at the pink elephant, and I laugh to myself.
Right, which is again why you probably are more heart centered than I am.
Well, no, I use these little tricks and things. But so, Regina, how often when you started practicing the mantra practice, how often did you do it? Was it like a set time of the day, or is it just something you just whenever you're, kind of?
So
or is there a practice?
No, I started with before I got up out of bed and before I went to sleep. I started with that. And then I expanded it to whenever I would think about it. So maybe I would set an alarm on my phone, or maybe I would find it written down somewhere. And then it became that I wrote it on a piece of paper and I put it on my computer so that every time I looked at my computer, I would read it.
Yes.
So then I trained myself to make it white noise. I'm an immersion kind of person. I just immersed myself in everything. I watched every video I could watch. I read the book that I learned about it from. I read the next book. I listened to music. I did everything. I just became totally a Ho'oponopono sponge. I did a level 2 levels, a Ho'oponopono practitioner and advanced practitioner. So I could teach it.
Okay.
I can also do it for other people. I mean, generally, the idea of Ho'oponopono is that when you hear someone's problem, you do it for them. You don't talk about it. You don't say, I'm going to do it. You just do it. Because that's part of the selflessness of it. And
you mean, so it's just repeating the mantra until you feel something clearing? Is that what you're?
So what I always think, so there's so many different ways to do it. And what I always think is, if I think I should do it, I still need to do it. And when I forget to do it, it means it worked. Okay. So it's not there in my mind. But, there is a practice where, I don't know if I have a pencil. I probably don't. But you take the pencil with an eraser and you tap it as you're saying it. And I'll give you a little example. My a family member of mine came home and told me that the doctor told them that they had a cancerous tumor in their jaw and that they were going to have to do surgery and that it was malignant.
Mm.
And it upset me. I mean, I didn't want that to be, it's very in your head. You don't know what's going to happen. So I wrote that person's name on a piece of paper in pencil, and I wrote cancer in pencil underneath it, and I tapped and I said my Ho'oponopono. And I did this for maybe 3 days on the same piece of paper, as much as I could think of, because I sit at a desk. So, and then we got the call that the doctor was wrong, that there was no cancer, and that the growth had shrunk, and that they could take it out with a needle biopsy.
Yeah. I mean, if people, I know people don't, a lot of people don't believe in that type of healing, but I certainly have heard, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of stories of things like this. So there is so much power in that we can help heal ourselves and heal others. So that's beautiful, beautiful story.
And even if we can't, we're still better for trying.
Yes.
Because I've had, very unfortunately, a young girl who I did all of this for, and she still didn't make it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I would have changed a thing. So I believe myself that I made her life better than it would have been had I not done it. Because you don't know what would have happened otherwise. Maybe she lived for 5 more years than she would have lived had I not done it. But that's just my optimistic point of view.
That's beautiful. I mean, I had a situation I was in a healing circle of 8 with some people are actually in the group, but for a woman who was sick with cancer, and she didn't make it either. But this went on for weeks, that we would meet and do this little and envision her and doing all the things she loved, and then tell her about what we've and again, I know that it brought peace to her, brought peace to me. It was, so yeah, the outcome we can't always control, but yeah.
So just another thing for me that I know that I, in around 1996, I went into respiratory arrest, and I was in the hospital, and I was in a medically induced coma because of all of the breathing issues that I was having. And I was induced for 7 days. So that was a long time to be that I was not breathing on my own. And when I came out, when they took me off of the medication and they took me off the ventilator and such, people would write to me, "I prayed for you." And my response would be, "I know I could hear you." And I could. And that was just amazing to me.
Wow.
I mean, I knew that people were either talking to me or praying for me or doing something, because I could really hear them.
You could hear them. Could you make out who they were? Like, as far, yeah. Wow.
There's one particular woman, Kathleen. She was the aunt of an ex-boyfriend, and I could hear her, and I knew it was her.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
That was really probably the coolest thing that's ever happened so far.
Yeah.
But I wasn't awakened at that point.
Right.
That was before the awakening.
I totally understand. But then it's like, you just weren't as tapped in, when you were conscious, but when you're unconscious, you were tapped in to source. Right. Yeah. Right. I think.
Right.
That's super cool. So you've had a lot of pivotal moments, defining moments, right? And
many more. There are so many more.
So many more. So yeah, you shared a couple that had a radical impact on your life. Are there any others you'd like to share? Any other ones that you've had already? Pivotal moments that, I think the Reiki hit, intuitive hit, followed by is definitely one. I think defining moment is basically knowing always that you wanted to be a lawyer is not common. I mean, a lot of people don't. Few people do know their whole lives what they want to be, what their purpose, what they want to be, but it's not that common. So, yeah. If there's any others that you'd like to share,
I'll give you one more thing that happened. when I was trying to, become more heart-centered, I met a man who is a Sufi practitioner. So he sees colors, and he would see colors flowing through you. And basically what he said is that they flow up your left arm, across your chest, and down and out your right arm. And it's your purpose is to get them to be blue. And your purpose is for it to flow easily. So I did a lot of work with him where he saw that I was not flowing that way, that I had a lot of blockages, yellow, orange, red kinds of blockages. And we did a lot of work. So he is the person that I will attribute to having made me open my heart. Because he talked to me about, that your ego is like an ace bandage around your heart, and it protects you, but it also suffocates you, and that sort of thing. So the one takeaway from him, there's a whole long story that I won't go into, but the one takeaway from him is that when I sat with him one day and I was doing the mantras that he would give me, he said that he saw something that he hadn't seen very often, and that it was angels in my chest, and that they wanted to send me a message. And their message was that we're always here, and we're always with you, and we're always protecting you. And that is what I can carry with me all the time. No matter what else, go back to that. Go back to that knowledge that there's something inside of me that's protecting me from a lot of different things.
That's beautiful. And we all have that. If we all have our angels, for me, they're sitting on my shoulders, but, and we all have that, that inner wisdom that if we have the courage to really listen to it, then, it's always going to point us in the right direction. Maybe we might go off course on course. But.
Well, we're human, right? Like you said before, we have choice, and sometimes our choices don't make sense.
Yeah. Until we learn, and then we, or unlearn and relearn, right?
As I used to say, I was on the highway and I got off at an exit and I couldn't find the on-ramp again. It took me a really long time to find the on-ramp. Now I'm back on the highway.
Yes, you are. So could you just share just a quick, brief description of what Reiki does? I mean, I see where you did it for my son. You've done it on me, and I find it very powerful. I'm also very open, receptive to those types of
yeah. So I think that I love it when someone is receptive, because then they can give me feedback about what they feel. As a Reiki practitioner, you're not supposed to ask that. And my husband reminds me of that all the time as I do it to him and say, so how does that feel? Whereas when I did it to you, I knew how it felt, because first you told me, but also I could see it with you because you're very receptive. With your son, at the time that I did it, he was not as receptive. So for him to tell me that he could feel it meant something different, right? So what happens with Reiki is it's a hands-on. So I don't know what you would call it, but my clairvoyance, it's not clairvoyance is hearing it, but I feel it. So now I'm talking about Reiki, and it's in my hands. I can feel the Reiki in my hands heat up. They get almost hot like coals when it's really flowing out of me. But when I talk about it, I call it to me for whatever reason. And so I can feel it in my hands now. And that's why I sort of was rubbing my hands together, because that's just what happens. It sort of gets very hot. So what the Reiki is for me is that Master Usui meditated for 21 days on a mountaintop, asking how he can sort of harness the energy of the universe. So when you first practice Reiki, you you are attuned to the blessings that he provides. And you have to practice for 21 days like he did. You're not going to fast, or maybe you do. I did not for 21 days. But what I did was I did a daily practice of Reiki for 21 days, and I did it on myself. So it's, touching your face, touching your heart, touching your throat. And what the Reiki is it's the energy that you have been receiving from the universe that are flowing through you. So I'm a conduit for the energy. And that energy flows from the universe through me into the person that I am giving Reiki to. And Reiki doesn't go to where I want it to go. It goes to where it's needed. I don't decide. I'm just a conduit. My practice is that I lay my hands above a person's. If I know the person, I might touch them, but generally I don't. And I lay my hands. Your hands connect, so there's not a break in energy. And that energy flows out of me through my hands into you. And I go around your body. So your head, your throat, your neck, so wherever your chakra, your main seven chakras, right, wherever your main seven chakras are. But the Reiki will go where it wants. That's just something probably that a human being needs, right? But the Reiki, let's say you needed the Reiki in your root chakra, and I'm up here at your head. It's still entering here, but going to your root chakra. So, so what Reiki will do is it will give the universe's energy into your energy centers, and it can heal. It can awaken. It can do a lot of different things that Reiki does. And quite honestly, I don't know everything Reiki can do. It does things that always amaze me.
Yeah.
Like with Jesse, I just gave it to him and let it do whatever it thought it needed to do. So
he needed to be unblocked. I mean, wherever it was blocking, but I think that's really what it sounds like it does. It's like this, like unblocking of the, wherever.
It'll send an energy to an area that needs it. What it does, what that energy does, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole world of people that says it unblocks it, but then if you go to India, they don't believe that. They don't believe of the blocking. So I've had this debate back and forth with one of my friends who is from India about what it is. So in my way, I say it goes and it unblocks. And then if I say that to her, I get into trouble. But that's okay.
That's okay. It has profound effects, I would say.
It does something, and it makes me feel better.
That's a good thing. That's good enough for me, for sure. I mean, it reminds me a lot of. Just like what you're talking about, the 21 days of the Kundalini yoga. This how you also practice it, and how you even and with the same with the I know this.
One of the good things about Ho'oponopono is that the more you do it and the more you say it, the more easily it comes out of your mouth.
I remember the mantra from like the first time you told me, but I couldn't remember how to say the actual. So
just to tie things up, I don't know how much more time we have, but I use my Ho'oponopono and my Reiki in my practice, in my legal practice. So one of the things about Ho'oponopono is that you could walk into a room, and when I'm in a room and I'm stressed out, I leave the room. So when you take your Ho'oponopono, you can go into the room and clean the room and move that energy out so that you have fresh energy. And I have done that when I've gone to court.
Yeah.
I've walked into a courtroom and I've done it, just one time. And I've seen the look on the judge's face change. I can tell you that there's been more times than there haven't been that I've walked into court and the judge is screaming at someone. And I walk in and I do my Ho'oponopono, and when it's my party's turn that comes up, the judge may not do something different than they would have already done, but they do it with a different energy.
Yeah.
So,
I believe you. I mean, and that's like, what a great way to use it. I mean, I always practice with that too. Like, how can I shift the energy? I mean, not in different ways, but we really have a powerful, and I think to do that in a courtroom, just for your own, energy protection, but also just to,
oh yeah. I mean,
process.
So just when you watch the movie Ghost, right? When Patrick Swayze sees those dark figures, that's what I always think of when I walk into a courtroom, that's that energy that's there, because people are fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes there's criminals in the courtroom. Sometimes there's people who are wrongly accused. So there's this whole energy that's going on there. So I always imagine myself like in that movie, clearing all of those people out of the way.
So, I love it. They just go right out.
Good imagery, right?
Yes, I'm very, very good. We'll talk more about that for sure, because I'm curious. So we're gonna just move on. I'm gonna ask you just a couple quick more questions, and then a speed round. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Okay. So now, this is just about the aging thing. I'm just curious if how you feel about we are living in this youth obsessed society, I believe, and I think that we're often made to feel like marginalized and less valued by the media, by the products, by the whole anti-aging movement, which I don't believe in at all. And I think it's toxic and dangerous. And I just wanted to, so if you have any thoughts on that.
So I'm very concerned with aging. I'm very concerned with not looking my age, which is one reason that my hair is down halfway down my back. And when people say, you're too old to have long hair, I get like a fire right here. I get very angry at that. I just want to look my best.
Yeah.
So if looking my best means I cut my hair, then I'll cut my hair. But for now, when I look in the mirror, I like what I see.
Yeah. And
so that's what I need to do. So right. Part of it is that I have blue hair. And that's part of my desire to also hold on to my youth.
Be playful and have fun. Yeah.
I'm never going to be 25 again. So, but I do find it very difficult.
Can I just stop for a second, Regina? Would you want to be 25 again?
I think I would be.
Oh, see, I am like, oof, no. She was in hot mess in my case. So yeah.
Sometimes I like to be a hot mess. I have a lot of responsibilities now. And when I was 25, I didn't. But I also would have done things differently. Not everything. And I don't live with regret ever. Like, I don't say, I wish I didn't do this, or I wish I could. That's just a waste of time. So I don't live with regret. It is what it is. But would I have done some things differently when I was 25, 30, more 30? Yes. I wouldn't have stayed as long in a relationship that I realized wasn't working. And the only reason I was staying is because I felt sorry for someone. And I didn't like failure. So when I look back, I say to myself, I am the person that I am because of that relationship. Yeah. So I want to be careful with the eraser, because then I erase part of me. So it's a double-edged sword, really, for me. So would I want to go back to 25, 30? Yeah. But not only in a few things, not everything. Like right. I moved more easily. I mean, sometimes as I get older, I feel, which is a societal problem, I think, I feel like I'm invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel invisible when I was 25, 30 years old.
Interesting.
So it's not so much that I look at myself the way I am now and I want to go back to the way I was then. I want to, and though I don't really think about this, so like the thoughts are all coming into my head. I guess I want to go to be appreciated the same way now that I was when I was 20, 25 or 30 by other people.
And even more appreciated because now you have more wisdom and you've learned more, and
I like who I am now more than I like who I was then.
Yes, I think a lot of us can say that for sure. For sure, yeah. I can, for sure. So, that's the benefit. That's the benefit of growing older. One of the benefits, I believe.
But also, if I went back, I'd have more time. That's one other benefit. I just have more time.
Right. And we all want, yeah. But again, we're living longer and healthier if we do the things that are going to help us live long and healthy.
Yeah.
Centenary and hundreds and beyond.
I'm not sure that will happen, nor do I want it to happen. So
if you're healthy. All right. So we're going to do a quick speed round. Okay. Well, one more question. I just want to ask you, if age was not a factor, is there anything, because I want you to go and do it. Is there anything you'd like to learn, try, or experience? I know a lot of things, but what comes to mind?
Well, age is not a factor for me because I try new things every day. So if my age were not a factor, no, I don't think there's anything. I mean, I just got a husband a year ago. So.
I know you did. The fabulous Vincent. Yes. Great guy. You guys are beautiful.
So I waited 57 years to do that. So.
Yeah, so you're just getting started, my friend.
Exactly. That's one other place where I wish I had more time. Yeah.
But right, time is an illusion anyway, though. But well, that's another discussion. All right. So I'm asking everybody this one because everybody's dying to go on vacation. Like a dream destination vacation place would be.
So I love the beach. So a dream vacation that I've always wanted to do would probably go to be the south of France.
Nice.
That would be something spectacular for me. The south of France.
This made me think of the next question, but what TV, if there are any TV shows that you're currently binging?
I don't watch TV.
I didn't think you did. There's a show called Call My Agent. I just started, though. It's a French show. It takes place in France.
Oh, yeah. I watch silly shows. Like I watched Bob's Burgers and Family Guy because Vincent watches them. So I spend time with him, but nothing that I can't do without.
Awesome. It takes a lot of people's time and life away, in my opinion, but okay. My superpower is?
I thought of it before. Now I can't think of what it is. I guess it's, I don't know. I'm blanking on it right now. Can we go to a different question?
Yeah. Okay. What energizes you? What lights you up? Just like a 1-word or 2-word answer.
So what would energize me is, I think it's joy, being happy with other people and being around people that happiness makes me enlivens me. Sadness really pulls me down.
As an empath, I totally get that. Yeah, we feel the joys and the pains very deeply on both sides.
Right.
Okay, it all comes down to blank.
Love.
Nice. Success is?
If I have to say what's coming to my mind, it's money.
Okay. Relationships are?
Sometimes hard.
Agreed. Sisterhood is
necessary.
Let's see. I want my legacy to be
That I brought joy. That I was a light instead of that I was a place of lightness instead of a place of darkness.
Nice. Beautiful. If there was something that you could teach the children growing up, the future generations, something that you would want them to learn, to get right, to like kind of just know, what would you hope for them to learn from a young age?
To be kind, because that, I don't see a lot of children being kind. I love children. I don't have my own children, but I love children. I care very deeply for children. Like, they're very important. Like, I would never want a child to be hurt, but kids are mean, and it's most important to be kind. And if you find a way to be kind, I think that's the advice I would give. That's what I try to give to my nieces. I have two of obviously girl nieces. I have 3 girl nieces, but 2 of them, I try to teach them to be kind.
That's beautiful. And yeah, I mean, again, you don't have to have your own children. I always say to be a mother. You're still mothering your family, other people's kids. I say that always to my friends who don't have, because they mother my kids. You've mothered my kids.
It definitely is. Motherhood is, there's 2 ways to be a mother, right? There's a way to be a physical mother, but then motherhood is something that's innate in all of us, and I definitely have that.
Absolutely, it's that creative, radiant force that makes us a woman, I think, right? Okay. Any favorite? Do you have a favorite? Well, I know I can answer this, but you have favorite quote or words to live by? I think partly would be your mantra,
right?
And that kind of says it all. So
there's I don't know if anybody listens to or follows Abraham Hicks. One of the things that Esther says is joy, joy, joy. It's if you just keep repeating that to yourself, you're happy.
I love it. I love her teachings. Oh, so good. All right, 2 final questions. What does it mean to you to be ageless?
To continue to be able to do the things I love to do.
Nice. Okay. Because it could be a physical state, right? A mental state or a spiritual state. I kind of think it's a combo of all of them.
Oh, it definitely is a combination for me. To be able to just be able to do the things that I love. If it's riding a bicycle, if it's walking my dog, if it's sitting down and concentrating on something, if it's creating something new, that's ageless. So the other part of that is, so this goes to my superpower. I can't put a name on my superpower now because for some reason my brain won't think of it. But the superpower is to feel what you feel and be able to act on it. It's hard to explain. And that's part of, to be able to do what you want to do is to know that. So.
Yeah, it's that I think that you're able to reconnect, redefine your purpose and connect to that, and then go out and do it. Is some people really have trouble with that, even figuring out what it is that they want to do. And so.
Yeah, but the pressure, I think. So what I want to do changes every day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, right. So I don't believe your purpose is set for life or anything. I think it is kind of ever changing and open to, continuing to.
Well, I'm happy that my purpose changed, because initially when I was a lawyer, my purpose was to be mean and fight and struggle. So I'm glad that it changed.
I am too.
That's not my purpose now.
Right. No, you're
But I still fight because I'm a fighter.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's righteous anger and righteous fighting is something that is actually really healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy.
I'll fight with myself in the mirror if there's no one else to fight with. So,
but you'll be kind to yourself at the same time. All right. Last question is: what does it mean to be an ageless goddess?
So when I think of a goddess, I think of someone who is powerful and strong. Because, like, I sort of think like that Wonder Woman, instead of being a superhero, she was a goddess because she was beautiful. And beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. I see that every single day. I look at something and not think it's beautiful, and someone else thinks it's the most magnificent thing they've ever seen in their life. And who am I to tell them that it's not? So an ageless goddess is someone who, okay, so what comes to me is harnesses their energies and keeps on going. That's really what I think that someone who's ageless does. And I could think of people, I have friends. I have a friend who's 95 years old. She's an ageless goddess.
Yeah, right. And she probably tries new things, like has a beginner's mind, is open to
absolutely.
All probably moves her body. Yeah. Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. So lastly, if you could tell us just how people, if you'd like to share your information about how people could get in touch with you, what if they want to learn more about, your work as a lawyer or Reiki or, anything that you'd like to share as far as how people can reach you and anything else.
Sure. They can get me on my email, which is very easy because it's my name, reginafallcortez@gmail.com. And I have a Calendly and I have a cell phone. They can text me at my cell phone number. And feel free to, I don't know how we share that on here, but.
Yeah, no, if you want, I can put it in the comments in our group. And yes, I mean, people, I love if people reach out if they're interested in, like something resonated, and then you can talk more. I would love that.
Yeah, I do all the like I have a Facebook page. It's called I Am the Soul, and I have places where you could do Reiki, where you could do Ho'oponopono, where you could do all of the other energy healing things that I'm trying to do now, the non-invasive healing. And I'm not really one to charge for the first few times, let's say. I'm not sure I've charged very much for it, but as a lawyer, I charge.
Yes.
As an energy practitioner, I haven't charged yet. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, ladies, definitely take advantage of that. And so I am the light of my.
No, my Facebook page is I Am the Soul.
I Am the Soul. I didn't even know that. I'm going to join it today. Okay. So Regina, thank you. That was amazing. You have so much wisdom and I love you and I appreciate that you were here today. So thank you for being a guest. And
you are quite welcome. And I love you too.
My heart to yours. Thank you so much. Mwah. Thanks everybody.
Okay. Bye now.